Oh, remember that tragic story of the Border Patrol agent David Malan, who was shot and killed during a traffic stop in northern Vermont on Inauguration Day? Well, here's the new disturbing details that deserve probably some airtime. Turns out that the mysterious duo suspected in the killing were not only, they were a trans duo with alleged ties to a trans terror cell involved in 3 other homicides, but one was here illegally who overstayed their visa. The man who broke this story, senior editor for the Post Millennial and author of Unmasked: Inside Antifa's Radical Plan to Destroy Democracy, Andy Ngo. Andy, I was reading everything on this. So there is a trans terror cell in America?
So the story sounds almost too shocking and sensational to be true, but the facts as I reported out on the surface are as shocking as they appear. So most people kind of didn't hear about this report because of all the inauguration and first week events related to the second term of President Trump. And then some focus had been on the immigration status of the German man who was deceased in the shooting. And it's actually unclear right now with his visa, if he overstayed on his visa, but that's not the point. As I started digging into the social media accounts of the 2 who are alleged to be involved in this deadly encounter with the Border Patrol, I found that 1, they identified as transgender, and 2, I interviewed a trans woman in California who was friends with the deceased German man who identified as a woman. And it led me, through looking at their communications, that the deceased man had communicated at one point with alleged members of this trans group in California, whose members are suspected of and or accused of being involved in multiple prior homicides. 3, and the killing of the border officer on Inauguration Day brings the body count to 4.
Oh, okay. I mean, like, this is so crazy. So it's like I looked a little bit into the things you sent me, but it appears to be like the mode that they're going for is just like a cultist vigilante group that just doesn't want to apply to our laws. Like somebody was killed over collecting rent because they felt that they call themselves the Zizians. Okay, they just don't want to live by our laws, and they're bound together by this trans identity.
So if you look at the court filings from federal prosecutors in Vermont, you'll learn that they have been surveilling the trans duo who were in Vermont for days leading up to that fatal encounter. This was not just somebody who's acted suspiciously on the day of and was pulled over. No, they were surveilled for nearly a week. And the stuff that law enforcement found, according to court documents, they had a ballistic helmet, 2 firearms, face respirators, a dozen electronic devices, really odd stuff, tactical equipment. Mm-hmm. And in yesterday's court filing from the prosecutor, the big revelation is that the firearms that were allegedly used in this fatal encounter is owned by a person of interest in the homicide investigations of the 3 other people who were killed. 3 other people are elderly, by the way. Murders going back to early 2023.
Yeah, like Andy, I have followed your work for years, and you've never gotten it wrong. So when I heard about this, I was like, why is this not being reported anywhere else?
If you look at all the headlines about this, let's just focus on the border officer who was killed and the Seattle woman who's currently in custody in Vermont. None of the reporting has mentioned anything about the trans, because I think there's another agenda at play in liberal media. But I verified all this information very carefully. There's a long social media footprint. I interviewed people who knew at least one of the individuals who were involved, and these were trans militant activists with a history of posts suggesting far-left political views as well.
Yeah, well, I would encourage everybody to go follow you on your Twitter account and stay up on this, because I'm sure there's going to be another bomb to drop here. Andy Ngo, appreciate it very much.